Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to a high-level game of StarCraft 2, in which today in the bottom left a phenomenal Korean Terran player playing for Team Shopify Rebellion. It is Beyond. And in the top right, spawning as our red Protoss player playing for Team Virtus Pro. It's the man, the myth, the legend, the guy that can make any build work. It's Astrea. This is a pro... Ooh. Look at that. What do we have over here, buddy? What do we have over here? We have a double proxy Rex Reaper that instantly got spotted, so not the greatest look here. Look at that. Pretty cool opener out of Beyond. I'm a huge fan of this because it looks fairly standard. It's hard to read. CC is still somewhat timely. Ooh. It's a quick Reaper out on the map too. It's actually gonna make its way into the main base and probably get a single kill. I'd be shocked if he walks away without a kill here. I'm shocked. I am actually kind of shocked. So this build is very powerful in certain situations. Imagine Astrea would have just sent the first Adept or the first Stalker right across the map and gone for a little bit of pressure. Then the 3 Reapers can jump into the main. If there's no battery there, they can start with 2 volleying probes. And that often is a pretty big issue. You lose 4 or 5 workers against a build like this, you're actually significantly behind. Because the economy with this particular opener is actually quite decent, and people don't realize that. The CC is only delayed by about 20-25 seconds, which is not the end of the world. Actually, it's more like 30 seconds, but still, it's still not the end of the world. You see Astrea following this up with... What the hell is this? He's skipping Warp Gate completely. I think this is a mistake though. I don't believe that this is what he wanted to do. Although it can be. Where he's saying, hey, I know that you're not going to have a factory. I'm not going to need extra stuff here. I'm not going to need extra gateway units. If I just get a prism and a robo bay, like straight robo bay here, is something that he could go for. Yes. Straight roll bay into observer. Okay, now he gets the warp gate. So it actually just was a mistake because he had that gas available the entire time anyway. Extra gas is coming in. Follow up here, I think might just go into a Colossus drop. This sounds weird because we almost never see it. And the reason why we never see it is because the robotics facility is a bad tech structure against anything factory related. However, if you get that free confirmation early on that the factory is going to be late because you scouted the double barracks, this is actually an okay response, and it's a response we've seen in the past that has paid off as well. We're not gonna see the Colossus drop quite yet. Instead, we have an Immortal now being popped out, and I'm expecting just the Colossus as a follow-up and no Prism, which kind of saddens me. I would have loved to see a Colossus drop here. I think it would have been nice as well. High Marine count. Kind of a weird 2-base tank push as well as a follow-up here coming out of Beyond. Not sure what to think of all of that. The battery now does go down. Astrea starts mining the patches out so he can start taking his 3rd base. Of course, 3 patches in between. 3 Reapers still alive. Not a whole lot has died so far in this game, as a double mine drop is gonna hit the other side of the map. Now, this mine drop hits about 30-40 seconds later than a usual mine drop would. There's still no Blink or any Stargate units, so there's no catch available for Astrea, but Astrea should have so many units that, in my mind, he should be capable of splitting well enough that he won't take any damage here. Yen actually decides to drop both of these mines in the exact same location, which I think was a mistake. Reaper still trying to go in. Will get to escape out of this as well, as one mine manages to stay alive. Might come back later into the main base. I would have preferred a mine in the net, a mine in the main. Denies a little bit more mining. Because you're hitting 2 bases, of course. Liberator's now going across, and I believe is actually gonna get spotted here by those observer. To wonder if Astrea is aware of all of that. There's 2 gateways out. He's already pumping the 2nd Colossus at a very high pace. We have a single Stalker up here. 2 more Stalkers being warped in. Let's see what Beyond is up to. He's gonna get spotted another time here, this time by the pylon, and there should be 0 way for Astrea to take any damage. But I've seen weirder things in the past. 3rd barracks now comes down. 4th will come down too. 2 more gateways being added into the mix as well. So We can really see this kind of heavy commitment into extra infrastructure, to these early Colossus, and a strong defensive setup here for Astrea. I don't think he's going to be super powerful aggressively, but he can move on the map a little and meet his opponent's army. I actually think that might be a pretty decent call here. Mine Drop's gonna hit the natural. Ooh, some nice retargeting there out of Beyond, as this mine actually is gonna end up falling just barely in time. Medevac is moving back home. Defensively, we have this tank setup. I think we only have 2 in total. Okay, we have 3 tanks in total. So that means that Beyond should be safe against this. As long as there's no charge, you can't really walk into 3 sieged up tanks. Not with Stalker Colossus. And even if you have Immortals in there, it doesn't tend to work. You're going to need a lot of charge lots. You're probably going to need an Archon or 2 as well to deal with it. Instead, we're seeing a Dark Shrine now come out of Astrea. This is too late to be a fast Dark Shrine, but too early to be like a late Dark Shrine. This is kind of weirdly in the middle. You almost never see it at this particular timing. So just an odd Dark Shrine is what it is. This Dark Shrine had a rough time, alright? He got bullied a little bit. Because he's just different than the other Dark Shrines. And now like 7 minutes into the game. A very odd timing indeed. Ooh. Represerve. Well, I'm not gonna get the full info, but at least a little bit of info. Liberator is attempting to go into the main, then decided against it. Double drop now heading towards the right. We have the pylon that can warp over. Oh, this is a really cute move. What the hell? I haven't seen this yet. So what Astrea here is going to do, he's going to hit a couple of bases at the same time. I bet he's going to warp over this. This base actually is in trouble. These probes are definitely in trouble. We get an instant recall. We get a couple of zealots that are building. Blink has finished. Let's not forget. Can he clear a medevac? No, he can't. Beyond is boosting back home in time. Beyond at the same time also sends the Lip into the main, which does end up getting 4 kills and also manages to run away to safety. Pretty big deal as a Ghost Academy finishes up and a 4TC ends up starting here for Beyond. 60 workers to 68. That means this Prism needs to deal some serious damage, and perhaps with the help of a Dark Shrine, we can actually get it going. Did Beyond see the Dark Shrine? No, he didn't. He barely missed it. His Liberator must have been somewhere here. He just legit barely missed it. I'm expecting a DT warp in over this. Then 2 DTs to drop in the main. 1 going here. 1 kind of staying off to the side, or maybe just running into the natural. Where's this DT starting? Oh yeah, there we go. Right on the edge. 2 Vikings in the dead space. You have a couple of observers here, all on the top side. You actually have 3 observers out right now, which is weird. Okay, here comes the Prism. It's gonna run in. Doesn't get to drop anything. No, it doesn't. That means that 2 DTs end up falling. This DT does end up getting into the 3rd base, but after 4 or 5 kills, it's going to get taken out here as well. So not a great start. Not a great start at all here for Astrea. Max Angel. Who's just behind, to be honest. Just not great eco. Not a brilliant looking army. It's now trying to go into the Dark Templar Blink, but I'm not really seeing a lot of potential there either. Pylons being taken out. I'm really waiting for Beyond to just move across the map and say, hey, this is my game now. It's time for you to piss off. Astrea is gonna get slightly higher worker count at some point, I can only imagine. Oh. Wants to go for a backstab, but Beyond is already mentally prepared for it. Oh, it's just gonna move away just in time for these probes to start mining here. I do believe that this turret is gonna... Well, it's barely not gonna see it, but I think the second one is gonna be shown. These mineral patches are now being taken out. I hope that Beyond is paying attention to that. You can also see it on the minimap, of course. You can see the change if it happens in vision. See a couple of mineral patches missing. Big scan forward onto this base. As the floodgates are now officially open. Oh, look at that. Probably do want to send something over there right now, Beyond. Because that has some serious potential for a big run by. Look at that, there's like 12 zealots waiting already. Good defensive setup here for Astrea. That's a decent set of force fields as well. It's going to stop this army from moving in. Now the zealots start arriving. New sensor tower gets added into the mix as well. It's going to be sensor tower number 2. Yeah, this thing kind of works 2 ways though. Because Beyond can also just start moving here, right, with his army and can start attacking this 5th base. And the defensive rotations could be quite tricky for Astrea, who's now moving in towards the planetary. There is 2 tanks there and a planetary, which is, you know, some serious defensive tools. So far this game, very calm, very patient. Kind of waiting for more bases to be added on. This was the 4th, this was the 5th, right. In my mind, this was the 5th already, but it's a very odd type of expansion pattern here that Astrea is utilizing. So he loses a Zealot. He's gonna start taking into Stargates already as well. High Zealot count, not that many Disruptors, but there is 2 nonetheless. We get some good snipes here on the Vikings. Flanking Disruptor doesn't get the hit. This Disruptor might get a hit. Fight largely before 2-2 finished for Beyond, and that is a serious issue. This fight would have been so much better for him had 2-2 finished already. He was fighting with a 2 upgrade deficit here in this battle, and that definitely cost him a couple of forces. They're still gonna try to chase, which I think is a mistake. We have more Disruptors on the way. We have the Stargate that is, what, 90% done at this point. I'm expecting Fleet Beacon, maybe a Mothership, maybe for Tempest. Gonna have to wait and see. Either way, it's going to be exciting. 3-3 now starts for Beyond. +3, however, quicker for Astrea. Means he's going to once again have a little bit, it's not by much, but a little bit of an upgrade lead. And that's something at least. What's the gate count at the moment? We're at 14, holy crap. Battery comes down as well here on the bottom side. Liberators now hit the field. Ship weapons level 1 only. Yeah, level 2 starts instantly. It's very important to get that. For the people who are not aware of these interactions, Liberators 2-shot Stalkers if they have +2 ship weapons. And if you hit an EMP, they will 1-shot them with +2 ship weapons. So right now you see they survive with a very small amount of HP, like 3 HP. Once that next upgrade finishes, they're just going to die against that shot. So there's a huge difference in interaction there. This fight wasn't great for Astrea. He's now going to get still a pretty decent hit with one of these Disruptors. There's a lot of cash in the bank. I'm expecting him fully to just add some more bases, some more gateways, and continue trying to trade. Double Observers, it's fairly visible in my mind there. I think Beyond probably has seen it. It's fairly clear. I'm shocked that he's not seeing it, but oh well. Can't win them all. 5 Disruptors, that means 5 potential Purification Novas, and indeed we're going to see the Mothership make an appearance here. Mothership doesn't show up frequently, but when it does, I always feel like it's extremely useful against there, and the ability to recall, the Time Warp ability, very powerful as well. I love it. Gonna have to wait and see how Beyond's gonna deal with all of this, because you need to spot the movement early. Zealot's now moving into the far left side. And this seems like a wild play, not like a good type of wild play. So I think there's simply too much defense here, and you can just repair this base. If you can't instantly surround it, I don't really believe that this is going to work. So here we go. Zealot's now moving forward. They charge in. Too many Liberators in position, though. That's going to end up being pushed back. This is such a tiny little army. Such a tiny army. Miniature force, really. As the Mothership now pops out. Are we getting any shield upgrades? I don't think so. Also don't think they're very useful. But sometimes we still do see them. The gate count is at 14 and we're adding 6 more for the quick counters among us. That brings the total up to 20. Once they finish. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have 4 orbital commands already done with 3 more CCs on the way. Prism doesn't get in. I would love to see Prism speed. Yeah, there we go. It's a good call. It's actually a good call. You kind of do want to get these Prisms in, even in the late games. Double Liberators now are starting to siege up. Mothership is making its way towards the bottom side of the map as Astrea is actually pushing in pretty aggressively here. Wants to get some fights. Can he get those fights that he wants? I think the answer is no. It's gonna blink in forward, snipes a lip. Where's that Mothership? Hiding in the dead space here on the bottom side. These 2 lips are gonna end up dying. Gravitic Drive is now completed as Astrea tries to... No, actually haven't completed. He went just before Gravitic Drive finished. which is probably a mistake. And definitely is frustrating. Templar Archives on the way. Air weapons as well coming in. I'm still waiting for this bad boy to start achieving something. And the way that you want to play it usually is you want to have an army split, right? So you can attack multiple locations, maybe with DTs, maybe with something else. But in this case, you actually want your entire army in one ball, so that you force the Terran into a defensive spot on one side. And then what you do afterwards is you basically just teleport to the other side, and then you still have the same thing. So this Mothership is going to move back a little bit. It's afraid of being spotted by those Vikings. Gonna get a big move in forward. Double Purification Nova's gonna get a couple of workers here. That's nice. That's neat. Triple planetaries now coming up. So we're gonna see a second planetary in this spot. We're seeing a second planetary in this spot too. And that shows how comfortable Beyond is in the late game. Because he hasn't really made any aggressive moves in, honestly, the entirety of the game. He just says, hey, if I just get into a late game, I'm going to feel pretty good about myself. And Astrea seems to kind of say a similar thing here, because he is building some massive cannon walls through the middle of the map. You have another Stalker Warp in. This Mothership is still... it's a little bit empty. A little bit all by itself. Purification Nova's coming in. Can he hit any of these bio units? He can hit a couple of these bio units at least. More Stalkers now coming in. 2 Marauders will fall. And now it's starting to feel like it might be time for a Mothership recall. So we do see it fly into the main base. And here we go. That's a lot of units here all at once. Stalker sadly not all with it. And here comes the recall. This is a weird recall though. It's kind of time warp, preemptively kind of. Liberators are so good in tight spaces like this. That is an actual issue here. Do we have the ability to... Oh my god, it's a huge Purification Nova. Another one that's going to be pretty big. 2 more coming out. Having a Prism here would have been huge, by the way. Imagine that, huh? Having a freaking Prism here. Oh, that would have been so nice. Meanwhile, Stalkers are moving in forward. Gonna get a couple of kills here onto these Liberators. 2 of them will fall. That's beautiful stuff. And we have a recall to the right side. A brilliant play. So first the recall into the main, then the recall to the right. Mothership is barely not gonna stay alive here. Will end up dying. For a second I thought Beyond might forget about it. But he definitely didn't. This CC is also gonna end up dying. And, ooh, well, maybe it won't. Still has 30 HP remaining. Could definitely send some SCVs over to try and repair that. 17, 16, 15, 14, 39. I think it's gonna die. Yes, sir. CC ends up falling. Bit of a blunder there out of Beyond. Storm now being researched. I'm expecting Templar to be added on the side bases at least. In combination with full-on cannons. Haven't quite seen that yet though in this moment. Because there's really no Templar on the map whatsoever. To be fair, Storm hasn't finished either. Not gonna be the end of the world. Would love to see a new Mothership being produced though, because that first move, it really it ruined Beyond a little bit. It created a way more active scenario, way more active. It's kind of cool to watch. It really is. Instead, we're seeing 2 more Stargates coming in, so perhaps it's going to be Tempest all the way instead. The thing about Liberators is that once they're in position, you can't really beat them. But if they're not in position, they're not that good because they don't really attack the ground. You know, they need to siege up and that takes some time. Personally, I think it takes too little time, but you know, who am I to talk about that? Yeah, Mothership once again being built. I think it's a good call. I think more cannons, Templars on the sides, and you just out-expand your opponent. Look at this. Beyond is only mining off of 5 bases, while Astrea has been mining here of what, 7? He's gonna rebuild this right side base, try taking a far left one as well. The disruptor count here actually isn't that brilliant. This is something we shouldn't forget about. Once this Mothership finishes up, I think we have another reasonable attack that could come in, theoretically. This is a scary army, by the way. 3 medevacs is really kind of the sweet spot where an army becomes like, oh, that's serious, you know? It's not a joke force anymore. It really ain't. These Stalkers being recalled, not even sure if that's going to be enough. 20 gateways definitely helping out. Quick reinforcements into these types of fights. Yeah, that's phenomenal. DT slicing and spicing away. Where's that Mothership of ours? Okay, it's out now. I hope it goes to the bottom side. I think that really is the key area. Another flying towards the main base would be sick as well. Beyond hasn't fixed this blunder yet, this little error. Like, he's just randomly scouting the dead space, making sure there's no Mothership running in. I mean, surely you should either be getting turrets here, vision, or like a sensor tower that covers that bottom part. Right now he doesn't quite have that. 4 more turrets on the way. What are we doing here? Stalker, Zealot, Disruptors. Purification Nova's coming out as well. Go on, Mothership. Let's do it. Show us what you got. Do you see like really the main area here that's being defended is that top side. And especially because Beyond wants to take that base. Now we can just get an aggressive recall, right? I feel like we should be capable of doing that, yeah. A little bit slow on it, perhaps even. Just gonna recall right on top of this. Good time warp as well. It's going to clear a bunch of stuff. The Mothership is gonna fall, but that's completely okay. I'm fine with that. Astrea is fine with that. That Mothership did its job already. Okay, it pulled stuff apart, and now you have a warp in here on the top side. That can be zealous. You can try clearing some of these. Beyond still needs to be careful against this army. He really needs to be. I think one issue that Astrea might be walking into right now is the fact that he has slightly too many workers. He wants to go into a very successful late game army here with Tempest, but fighting army versus army against Terran and you're up in workers is often just tricky. Good storm here comes out. Super battery could get used. Can we get a super battery? I think we can get a super battery right now. We ain't doing it though. Tempest have popped out. This base is gonna get hold. Held. We have a full hold. 2 more Disruptors are out. 3 Disruptors total. It's gonna be Storm, Tempest, Zealot. It's a kind of an oddball composition here. Space is very, very vulnerable too. And Astrea here is in the business of clearing bases more so than holding his own bases on the other side. He says, hey, if I'm gonna get a lot of Tempest, I want to do some pushing. And some pushing is what he's gonna do. That pylon's gonna fall though, and that means these cannons will also get depowered. Needed a backup pylon there for that Artosis pylon. Gonna get a recall towards the middle. Recall has been used absolutely phenomenally so far in this game, both aggressively as well as defensively. I'd love to see a new Mothership being added in. I feel like both of the Mothership attacks really aided Astrea into keeping his position solid, playable, while also, you know, being capable of dealing some damage with it. We get a scan here on the far right side. Beyond now knows that that base ain't mining no more. And if Beyond gets this base and gets to keep it, I actually think Astrea's in a lot of trouble. Because then we're going to be going into a scenario where Beyond will have mined from all 6 of his own bases and eventually can just take his own 7. And that should be an issue. I do feel like Beyond is a little bit low on the Viking count though, given the fact that he has scouted the Tempest. He only has, what, 11? 7. He has 7 Vikings out. That is a very low number of Vikings. Given that there's 5 Tempests out already. Like, we're definitely gonna need more than that. I think having an Oracle in the mix would be great too. So a massive Zealot DT run by starts towards the bottom side of the map. A couple of Stalkers would help clearing these Liberators as well. The Tempest for now holding the cannon line. Where are these Templar with the storms? Do we have any nearby? No, we only have a single one. It's in the middle of the map. More disruptive shots are coming out as the Viking count has honestly been completely removed. We have 0 Vikings, now 2 Vikings, but they're still flying across the map. That means that the only anti-air is going to be Marine Ghost. So far, it's actually going pretty okay here for Beyond. This trade was fine, and especially because it allows Beyond to take out this base as well. At the same time, you have a Zealot DT attack on a base that isn't mining anymore. So, not really that important. We have a powerful bunker. This is a lot of resources that need to achieve something. And Beyond actually leaving the door open there is a pretty big deal, because that means that these reinforcing Marines can't hide behind that closed door. Vikings do get to land, and in the end, I think the only thing that really dies is 5 Marines, 3 depots, like a refinery that is done mining as well. Not necessarily a great trade, but at least wins Astrea a bit of time, maybe to set up this bottom right side base again, to start getting some... Do we have the upgrade yet? On the Tempest, the tectonic destabilizers to start clearing buildings quicker? We don't yet. I think that would be a great addition here. A great add into the mix. Once again, Beyond on a low Viking count. He's only at 8 against soon to be 9 Tempest. No, sorry, soon to be 10 Tempest. Like, the Viking count needs to be, I think, about 2 to 1 against Tempest. Then you're still cheaper in supply. And you're just going to clear the Air Force really, really fast. And right now the Viking numbers are just extraordinarily low. Mothership is going to be added in. Zealot Stalker towards the bottom side. Astrea knows what he's up to, knows what he's doing. Can Beyond stop him? There's a huge Tempest force. 10. Okay, here comes the tectonic destabilizers. 4 more Vikings on the way. It's going to bring it up to 14. I think unless Beyond has like 18 Vikings, 19 Vikings, I'm not loving this spot. I really am not loving this spot. Yeah, the Tempest now just start trading as well. I think having an Oracle here would be great. Because then you could really shoot from a very long distance. And you have the Templar to help out. 2 Tempest fall. 3 Tempest fall. This actually was an okay trade here for Beyond. It's going to keep 11 Vikings alive against the now 7 Tempest. Not having any Oracle here for Revelation is definitely a mistake. Because it just makes these battles, these back and forths, so much easier. Now with the Vision, I'm expecting this fight to go much better here. For Astrea, who has a Templar with Storm, with feedback, it's going to hit this force pretty convincingly. Look at that. That is a damaged force. You have 2 more Observers coming in, so Astrea's preferring the Observer Vision over the Oracle Revelation, which I think the Oracle Revelation is much more consistent in its output. Because you can just, you just have vision of the units that you hit with the Revelation. You have an army here on the top side. You have an army here moving towards the middle, which is kind of cool. This base is going to get taken out. I don't think there's anything Beyond can do about that anymore. Is this the Mothership? Yeah. I really think if you fly in with a Mothership, there needs to be a prism behind it as well. Like if you can reinforce into a base, that is a huge freaking deal. You can even put some Templar in that prism too. I mean, you're starting a very complex maneuver, but it's a maneuver with potentially game-ending consequences. So I think it's a maneuver that might be worth it investing a little bit into, Like if you hold someone's ramp and you're right at their production, that is a really freaking big deal. Especially if you have 20 gateways. That is like 40 supply you can warp in a second. That is instant replenishing supply. That is brilliant. It really is. And something we're not seeing quite yet. Not even sure if at this point Astrea wants to go for it. It's mining from the bottom side. There's a lot of Stalker Zealot here. I think he actually has the opportunity to just kind of go for this with his run by. That's what it feels like to me, at least. Like he has an army that is capable of doing that, and Beyond is just kind of stuck together here in one massive force. A lot of cannons going down. Oops. There goes that bad boy. Good blink forward. I love how Astrea is abusing the map, Just flying over these dead spaces, these little dead areas, and you can blink forward easily. I get a blink in here too. Lots of Vikings are being popped out. Good cloak on the Ghost. Are gonna get the snipe on that Templar. And Astrea is gonna get pushed back. Does have the Observer here. So there's potential for potential here. There's no potential yet, but we could see it happen, theoretically. This Templar could be big too. We have a random Ghost being left behind for that EMP. There we go, there we go, there we go. Oh, forgot to use the EMP. Sad, but true. Nuke now coming in. Oh, good blink forward. Beyond should know now that there is something here. We still have the units on the right side too. This base is gonna end up falling. Good storm. Good storms. Plural, because those were 2 very neat storms. And Beyond actually is planning on chasing here, or I think he thought he was planning on chasing. Maybe he shouldn't be. Observer still here. He is providing a lot of value here for Astrea. I think Astrea might be going a little bit too ham here with the attack. But it might also just be fine, because this force isn't so big anymore. The reinforcements are not coming in. And of course, Astrea is the player with the quick reinforcements, with the 20 gateways. Tempest still chasing here as well. Now start attacking a refinery, which is not quite what you want. This army is extremely overstimmed. Where is that Mothership? Do we still have it alive, or did it die? It died in the process. Hate to see it, but this top base should end up falling as well. We have Templar here defending the bottom side. Astrea with a massive bank still. Is down in the resources lost, but simply has mined more so far this game. And denying this base is a huge deal, because it means that Beyond doesn't have any mining bases remaining, except for these 4 measly patches. Here come the Vikings. Trying to move in. Do we have storms? Ooh, EMP misses the Templar. You still have 1 storm available. 2 storms available, as long as you don't get EMP'd. Can we turn around and storm? Can we turn around and storm? Get a zoning storm, don't mind it. Tempest count still increasing. 7 Vikings against 8 Tempest. Good vision as well with the observers. How many observers do we have? We have 7. Providing a crap ton of vision. Oh, needs to scan for it. This observer now is going to provide vision in the middle as well. I mean, there's just a huge difference in vision here. A huge difference in money as well. Liberator's going to move in forward. Probably will get cleared by Stalkers in a moment's notice. Or maybe if the scanner finishes up in 7 seconds from now. Can just pull away from here. Here comes a move forward with those EMPs. EMP is going to connect with the Tempest at least, but I feel like there's just too many. There's too many Tempest here. Oh, Disruptor's going to get cleared just before that finishes up. This is a scary moment. This might be the last scary moment. Because I don't think Beyond has anything behind this. He is all in with this push. Gonna get hit by a fat storm right in the face. We still have big reinforcements available here for Astrea as well, who now keeps his Tempest alive and clears all the Vikings. And I think that should be it, because you have the range advantage at this point with those Tempest. You still have the Templar. There's no ghost really. GG gets called. Astrea after 32 minutes and 20 seconds is going to win this game in a banger of a late game. Lovely Mothership usage here against Beyond. Lovely use of the Tempest as well. And this is honestly one of the first proper late game wins that I've seen Protoss have in a very, very, very long time. Because it's rare for Protoss players to win in the very late game against Terran at the highest level. So it's cool to see that it is possible. And Astrea making it happen here. I hope you all enjoyed this game as much as I did. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Check out my stream as well. I stream daily, twitch.tv/harstem, or on my YouTube channel. I dual stream, so check that out. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.